Do you know what the most common cause of female loneliness is? It's strong secondary gains. Very often, if a woman's love life doesn't work out and she is single, she sincerely believes that men are to blame. Either there are too few of them, or they are all weak, uninitiative, and so on and so forth. What if I told you that it's actually beneficial for you to be single? That it's in your best interest for a man to leave you, file for divorce, show no initiative, pay no attention, and even be unfaithful. It's also beneficial for you to date married men, or those who don't want serious relationships and are not ready for commitment. I can imagine you looking at me in surprise right now thinking, Lisa, how could all this be beneficial to me? The thing is, we are talking not about an obvious, but about a secondary gain that you might not even be aware of. Watch this video attentively, and I'm confident it will provide you with incredible realizations, after which you'll finally meet the right person and get married. So, a secondary gain is a significant need for a person that they indirectly satisfy through their own behavior. In simple terms, these are the benefits and bonuses a person receives from their problem. To make it as clear as possible, I'll give you a simple example. Think of a common situation. A child lacks parental attention and warmth, and then the child falls ill. The mother immediately takes a leave, postpones all important matters, and dedicates herself to the child, spending all her time with them. In this case, the child actually receives the missing care and love. So it's advantageous for the little one to be unwell, because through illness they get what they desire. This is a secondary gain, even though lying in bed with fever and a sore throat might not be the most pleasant experience. The same often happens in romantic relationships. Consciously, you want to build a happy, healthy relationship with your beloved man. You want to get married, start a family, have children, but your desire has remained unfulfilled for a long time. In that case, it's worth checking if you have any subconscious secondary gains. That's what we'll talk about today. First, I will provide the most common examples from life to open your eyes to the reasons behind your unfulfilled desires in your love life. Then I'll show you how to eliminate these secondary gains, so pay close attention. Secondary gains are essentially the same as negative beliefs. They block you from achieving what you desire, even if they serve as a sort of protective mechanism of your brain. However, you still don't get what you want, and you don't feel happy. There can be numerous such beliefs, and most of them reside in your subconscious from childhood. The question is, how can you recognize these destructive beliefs and eliminate them forever? This is where you always need to start, with your own inner work. If you genuinely want a strong, loving, lifelong relationship, if there is chaos at the subconscious level, not even the most feminine dress, a new beautiful hairstyle, or your amazing culinary skills, or high intelligence is likely to save the situation. This is why I regularly organize one important event for women. It's my free online masterclass, during which I talk about the negative beliefs that hinder your relationship with your partner, how to identify them, and how to work on them in practice. During the masterclass, we will talk about the most common ones. And after the masterclass, you will know exactly what you need to work on in your consciousness to improve your relationship with your loved one or create them anew with a new person. That link in the upper right corner of your screen is your free pass to my masterclass, which has already helped thousands of women save their relationships with their significant others. Right now, click on the link and register. You can also find the link in the description of this video. The masterclass will be incredibly useful. Don't miss this opportunity. Now let's move on to the secondary gains. The best way to understand what they are and whether they exist in your life is through examples. Let's analyze a few situations. Here is Tatiana's situation. I've been in a relationship with a married man for 3 years now. He promises to get a divorce, but never follows through. And here is a message I found in my direct messages from Helen. My partner and I live in different countries. I can't move to be with him right now. I have my own apartment where I live, a job, and my child goes to school here. He has his business there. Finding a job in a new country is difficult. Even though we love each other, it feels like we're stuck. What do these two situations have in common? In both cases, the women's desires have not been realized for a long time. No matter what they do, these men remain unavailable to them. One is married, and the other lives thousands of miles away. What's the secondary gain here? In reality, you don't truly want to get married. You don't desire close relationships. Because subconsciously, you think that being married will make you unhappy. Perhaps you're afraid that a man will restrict your freedom. Or you don't want to disrupt your personal comfort, fearing that you'll be unhappy in a marriage with another person. Maybe you've had negative experiences in the past relationships. You've been married before and were unhappy, or your mother suffered in her marriage. This is why you subconsciously choose men who are unavailable to you. Second example. Here is what Olga wrote to me. We've been dating for 2 years and he still hasn't proposed. What could be the secondary gain in this situation? Subconsciously, the woman might think that a committed relationship and marriage will interfere with her career and self-growth. She may fear that she won't be able to dedicate enough time to her personal development, so she herself blocks the relationship from progressing. And I had a similar experience. A few years ago, I realized that I had wanted to get married, but my reality was far from that. Then I realized that the reason lies in my subconscious mind. And I remembered how my mother used to say that when a woman gets married, she must devote herself entirely to her family, and that there should be no talk of a career. But self-realization is so important to me. And when I worked through this belief, I soon met my future husband. Christina's story is quite different. Lisa, I constantly meet the wrong man, with whom I can't build a relationship. As a result, I've been single for a long time. Look, she wants a relationship, but she has been single for a long time. Most likely, she hasn't achieved her goal because, deep down, she enjoys her freedom. She doesn't want to share living space, plan a budget, or invest her energy and time in another person. Or the secondary gain may come from a desire to have no restrictions on oneself. Perhaps in past relationships, her partner disapproved of her spending time with friends, didn't want her to wear makeup or dress nicely, expressed disapproval of her hobbies, and so on. And the last example is probably the most paradoxical in terms of secondary gains. Here is what Anna wrote to me. I feel unhappy in the relationship. He doesn't consider my opinion, humiliates me, always thinks he is right. And I know he's cheating. But I'm even afraid to talk about it. What if he leaves me? A woman is openly miserable in her relationship with someone. She's suffering greatly, and she acknowledges it. But even in this toxic relationship, she gets secondary gains. What are they? First of all, in this situation, she is the victim. Being a victim is convenient. She can expect sympathy from those around her and get their support. Secondly, she can remain a child and avoid taking responsibility, because being an adult is not an easy task. And she can also experience the emotions she may be lacking, even if they are negative. But emotional swings are usually characterized by everything being bad and then suddenly becoming good. And for the sake of this good, a woman is subconsciously willing to endure the bad. Can you imagine? In a moment, we'll talk about how to work on these secondary gains. But first, write to me in the comments if you recognize yourself in any of these situations. Or perhaps you've had such an experience in the past, but you've already worked through it. Now, the main question: how can you work on your secondary gains and ensure that your true desire, mainly a happy and harmonious relationship, becomes a part of your life? First of all, you need to acknowledge the problem and become aware of your secondary gains. The fulfillment of your desires depends on you, and that means you are the one who can hinder them. Sometimes just recognizing these secondary gains is enough, and this awareness can accelerate the process, bringing your dreams to life in no time. But that's not always the case, so be prepared that you'll likely need to make an effort, delve into yourself, and work on yourself. Only after this, the secondary gains will no longer hinder you. So how can you identify these secondary gains? And how can you work on them once you've realized you have them? To start, ask yourself 3 questions. Why don't you want your desire to come true? Second question, what do you like about your current situation? What's good about it? Third question, what will you lose if your desire is fulfilled? After you've answered these questions as honestly as possible, you'll need to identify the need that your current situation fulfills, and then find an alternative way to meet that need, but within the context of your desire being fulfilled. How else can you eliminate secondary gains? To do this, try to create a list of the pros and cons of your dream coming true and remaining just a dream. This will help you realize that there are far more benefits to having your desire fulfilled than keeping it as a dream. This, in turn, will provide an additional incentive for your desire to manifest. You can also register for my free masterclass right now, and in just 2.5 hours, get answers to many of your questions and learn how your hidden subconscious beliefs affect your relationships with men in real life. The link is in the description below. Bye, everyone!